All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a quick breakdown on a beach lean plan. Part of the breakdown is going to be this. I'm going to summarize it in the future, make a couple videos in the future, but I'm going to have it written down for you, and we're going to knock this baby out. Simply and straightforward. What are we going over today? We're going over the water breakdown of what you're going to do. So some people already have their breakdown of the carbohydrates, fats, and all that. They've already dropped their body weight. This is what to do in the last 8 days of the breakdown for your beach lean plan, if you want to call it that, or if you want to use this for a photo shoot, if you want to use this for a wedding, like some clients and some friends of mine have asked before, you can use this for a wedding as well. So the last 8 days, so usually I give people about a month to do this, to drop a couple pounds, maybe like 8 pounds max within the last month, up to 10, 12 pounds, depending on the water weight. So again, your goal here, it's dependent on here, but this is the last week of a 4 to 8 week cycle. In the last 8 days out, 8 days, 8 and 7 before your meet or whatever it is, you're roughly going to go for approximately, if you can, especially guys, this is for guys, I'm going to give you the guys breakdown, kind of give you a differentiation for women. You're going to be going for about 1,900 calories. For me personally, I'm doing 1,925. I'm going to give you the personal and then the rough estimate. This is dependent on who you are as an individual, if you know your calories. So let's say for me, for example, 1,925 is what I do. I'm going to be drinking 2 gallons of water for days 8 and 7 before the actual date. Okay. My protein's about 250 grams plus 40 grams if I'm doing 2-a-days. That's if I decide to do 2-a-days, which are 45-minute workouts. But that's besides the point. We're going to pretend I'm not doing that. But again, carbs on that 130 plus 44 grams if I'm doing 2-a-days. So I end up adding about 84 grams of total protein and carbs, about 320, 336 calories extra for that second workout. If I'm doing 2 workouts, I add more. So you need to take that into account, write this down. If you're doing 2 workouts, you add about, if you're a woman, 200 to 300 calories. Guys, 300, about 250 to 350 calories, depending on how long your workouts are. So you want to adjust that for yourself. Again, the reason why you're like, well, why are you adding calories? Because you don't want to lose energy and be weak, and you also want to be able to maintain performance inside and outside of the workout, as well as recover efficiently and not burn muscle. Okay, so that's what we're going for here. So again, those are all contextual things. So again, do that if you're a guy. Add 40 grams of protein, 40 grams of carbs around your workout in order to get the most out of that. Okay, so that's again if you're doing 2-a-days. I'm eating that, what's it called, 1925 calories, 250 grams of protein, 130 grams of carbs, 45 grams of fat, 2 gallons of water. Women, roughly, if we want to get real systematic here, I'd say depending if you know where you're at, my baseline for calories, it depends on what my training program is, but giving you a rough estimate, I mean, I could get up to 3,500 calories and not gain that much weight, 3,000 calories. So it's about 1,000 calories below. A woman, 25. I would say 16 or 1,500, you're going to have to play around here and doing the work on workout days, right? If you're not doing workouts, you do drop your calories at least by 300, 400 calories. So these are days that I work out, I'm eating 1,925 calories. If I'm not working out, I'm eating about 1,600 or less, 1,500 calories. This is again, and that's going to be mostly comprised of protein. Women, that's kind of where you want to be at, 1,600, 1,500 calories, 8 days out. Say 1,500 to make it simple. Adjust accordingly. You do not want to drop a crazy amount of weight, but you also don't want to pretend like you're not trying to drop weight. So 1,500 calories. If we're going to take this into account, if you notice the 250 grams of protein, it's literally half of my calories. So you're doing 50% protein for women, about 700 calories worth of protein. That's about 180 grams, a little bit around that much protein. So 180, and then for women again, on the carbohydrate standpoint, if we're dropping that again, about 20% from what I'm at, that would be about 100 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs. So women, 1,500 calories, about 180 grams of protein, and I'm not counting it in my head, 100 grams of carbs. And then fats, women need less fats, same idea. Let's say dropping 20% or 25% of what I'm doing, because about 2,000 to 1,500 is about 20-25%. we're dropping about 10 to 12 grams. So women, about 35 grams of fat, about 190 grams of 190 grams of protein, and about 180 to 190, and about 100 grams of carbs. So 190 100 grams of carbs, and about 35 grams of fat. I'll give you around roughly where you need to be. You want to keep that fat pretty consistent, but and about 2 gallons of water as a guy, 1.5 to 2 gallons of water as a girl. Okay. Days 6, 4, 5, 4, 3 days before. So that means after day 7. So you do 8, day 7. It's days 6, 5, 4, and 3 days before. I dropped my calories literally by 20 calories. You're like, wow, how's that significant? Well, you're dropping some carbs. So I'm drinking at that point 4 gallons of water. So you double whatever you drink. So women, if you're drinking 1.5 gallons of water, you're gonna drink 3 gallons of water after basically for days 6, 5, 4, and 3. Okay, and then the carbs, you're trying to keep them below, for me at least, 50 to 100 grams of carbs. So women, that's going to differentiate by 40 to 75 grams of carb. Add lots of salt to every meal. Carry some around if you can. I would go not eat out, but I would have specific meals that I was eating, that I was counting my calories with, and mostly protein, obviously, and some vegetables. I would add salt to my water, and that sounds disgusting, but basically it's going to inflate and fill up your muscles in your body with water, and you're going to retain that water. You're like, why are you doing that? Well, because on days 6, 5, 4, and 3, with those 4 gallons of water, you're going to teach your body and make your body gain all this water, and you're going to be peeing a lot. It's flushing you out. But within that, and in that, you will actually get to the point where you are going to flush out that water on days 2, 1, and the day of. So on 6, 5, 4, 3, I'm eating 20 calories less, girls, about 20 calories less. Keeping my carbs 50 to 100 grams of carbs. Add lots of salt to every meal, carry some around. Proteins 300 grams for me, so again, more protein, plus 40 grams when doing 2 a days in protein scoops. Carbs are 75 to plus 50 grams when doing 2 a days, half post carbs plus some other carbs in between the workout, and fat is at 45 grams. So what does that mean? As women, on days 6, 5, 4, 3, you'll be taking in about 1,450, 1,480 calories, okay? If you're doing 100 grams of carbs before, like I said, dropping it maybe to 50 to 75 is going to be ideal for y'all, and then adding the about 25 grams of protein. And you were at 190 before. Now for days 6, 5, 4, and 3, you'll go to about 220 roughly, okay? And then for the you'll do your 75 grams, 50 to 75 grams of carbs, and then your fat stays at 45. Okay. Next thing. Again, that's less than 1,500 calories, whatever you're having before. Okay. Next thing, we're going into, there's specific proteins that you can take. You want ones with low sodium if you're going to take them. I usually take, or if I'm going to do this specifically, I would take one like Isogym. That's going to be where you get the lowest amount of sodium per protein scoop. There's a lot of protein that have sodium in it, for a lot of different reasons, for recovery reasons, as well as for reasons of storage. Point is though, it is a good brand specifically if you take Isogym, specifically because it has the check mark that a third party goes through to make sure it's sports certified, so you don't get any additives and stuff like that otherwise could be put into your stuff. So Isogym's a good brand, First Form's a good brand. There's a couple of other good brands that are really good, just like Optimum Nutrition. But the difference is in those is that you want as many third-party regulations to go through them to make sure that they're okay. But the difference in this perspective is that we're trying to get the lowest amount of salt. So Isogym's really good if you could get like their, like their sample packs of 10 scoops. It'd be great for you, again, or taking more because this is 2 days before. You're going to be taking Isogym's. It's like a post workout. It's called ISOGym, JYM, ISOJYM. Any of those with the lowest sodium that you can. 2 days before, this is when you start taking it. Do 2 a days, 300 to 450 calories off total of your base so whatever, 200, 400. Oh yeah, start taking Isogym 2 days before. Do 2 a days, 300 to 450 calories off total of your total base plus 200 grams from carbs. So what does that mean? You're like, what the hell? 1 gallon or less water. Now, after you've been taking 4 gallons of water, you'll be taking 1 gallon of water. You'll be taking anywhere from 200 to 400 grams of carbs. You were just taking 75 to 150. So we're gonna multiply the amount of carbohydrates that you were taking at least, I would say, by 4. So what does that mean? If you're taking, as a woman, 50 to 75, you'd be taking at least 200 grams of carbs per day. And guys, at least, if you're taking that 100, again, at least 200 grams, up to 400 grams of carbs. Me, I can hold 400 grams, so I can eat that much. All extra salt is out. You need to be eating dry chicken, dry fish, no eating out, because that's going to have a lot of salt. You get your veggies in, spice that say no salt, and stuff like that. So if you're going to add that, and personally, I just eat dry chicken, fish, and extra salt out. And you have a lot of carbs that you can work with. So you can honestly take dry carbs. Those are going to be the best. Going to be potatoes, pixie sticks, sweet tarts, bare naked granola, air popped home popcorn. I took in watermelon when I was doing my cut, but that has water in it, so you kind of have to weigh that out. Try not to do, and I don't mean literally weigh it out. I just mean kind of make the judgment call. Try not to drink that much water. Premier protein shakes, women's protein bars, Walgreens, zero sodium. There's some, I forget what it was called, that you can take. There's naked fruit juice. Again, watch out with the water. Fruit in general, but no eggs. Okay, do not do eggs in that regard. I don't know why I put that. I forgot why, but don't do eggs. So protein, you're doing 200 grams. More than likely, it's no eggs in the respect that you can get them. What's it called? From the store, they have a lot of sodium. So yes, you can have eggs. Just make sure that you make them at home and they're boiled with no salt in them. Protein, I'm eating about 200 grams if it's me. 350 grams plus 75 plus 24 when doing 2 a days. That's if I'm doing 2 a days, so I'm at about 350 to 400 grams. And then fat at 40 grams. So again, woman, if you notice, for me it's 2560 total plus 200 grams from carbs if I am doing the overall 2 a days and all that stuff. So 200 grams of protein for me, 350 grams for me, and then 40 grams. That total is going to be 2,200 plus 9, 360, 2,560 total calories. We went from 1,900 to 2,560. It's a total of about 600 more calories. So women, if you're at that 1,500 calorie mark, or 1,450 like we said, add 600 calories. You're going to be eating roughly, we'll say 2,000 because you're going to need a little bit less than guys. So 1,950 to 2,000 calories. Your protein will go up. You'll be roughly at 150 grams of protein, and your carbs again, if we're doing the calculation, or your fat, you'll go to like 30 grams of fat, 35 max, and then carbs you'll be being like 200 to 300. So you kind of make that judgment call on how much you want on the carbs, but make sure you at least get 200. So 200, 150, that's going to end up being 350 times 4 is about 1,500 calories, and that leaves you with 500 calories for fat. That's about 10 times 5, 50 grams of fat. So yeah, so about 300 calories, 250 grams from carbs, 200 from 150 from protein, and then like 30 from fat. Okay, that's the breakdown for that. So write that down. One day before, drink a half gallon of water. Still eat your 200 to 400 grams of carbs. All extra salt, still dried chicken, fish, etc. No eating out. Dry carbs. You could get Wonka pixie sticks if you want. Again, remember naked granola, air popped popcorn, protein, Premier protein shakes, naked juice, fruit, etc. No eggs unless they're homemade. And then picture day, you have no water. You have high carbs, still 200 to 400. All extra salt out. Fish and all that good stuff. No eating out, etc. And then you're good to go. Pedialyte for post shoot, so you could get that. So what's the breakdown? That's a lot of information, 15 minutes worth. I'm gonna go real quick through it again to make it simple. So we're going 8 days out. 19. So just basically subtract about 500 calories, and then 25% of what I say women. Okay, so 25% of what I'm about to say, you cut that away. 1925 calories, 2 gallons of water, 250 grams of protein, 130 grams of carbs, 45 grams of fat. Women, about 1,500 calories, 190 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, and about 35 grams of fat. And then we drop down. Days 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, those were day 7, 8, and 7 that I just said. 6, 5, 4, 3. I'm eating 1,905 calories. Girls, about 1,450 calories. Doing 4 gallons of water outside of that 2 gallons that we used to take. 4 gallons of water for those 4 days. I'm eating 50 to 100 grams of carbs. Women, 50 to 75 grams of carbs. Add lots of salt to every meal. That's for days 6, 5, 4, and 3. Protein goes up to 300. Carbs stays at, again, 70, about, for me, 75. Women, 50 to 75. Fat, 45 grams. So women, you're bringing your protein up to about 240. Okay. And then, what is it? What is 25%? 60 actually. Yeah. Is that right? 60? I can't think straight right now. About, yeah, just say 200. That's 20%. About 200. Do 240. Drop your carbs to 50, and then your fat. We're gonna drop that down to 30. We'll just say 30. Fat to 30. Fat to 30. Carbs to 50, and then protein to 240. That's days 6, 5, 4, 3 with 4 gallons of water and a lot of salt to every meal. Add a lot even to your water if you can. And then 2 days out, days 2 and 1, and then your day is its own day. 2 days before, you start taking Isogym because it has low salt. What you're gonna do is you're gonna basically we're gonna add about 600 calories to where the lowest amount was about 1,900. So you go 600 for women. We're gonna add about 400 to 500. So if you're at 1,500 calories or 1,450 at the lowest part, you're gonna bring you up to 1,900. We'll put you at 1,900 calories. Okay, we're gonna bring your protein back down to 150 grams. Your carbs, we're gonna bring them up to about 250 grams, and then your fat, keep it at 30 grams. Okay, might adjust the calories a little bit. For guys though, it's gonna be 200 grams protein, 350 grams of carbs, 40 grams of fat. Okay, and then you're gonna be naked granola, what's it called? Air pop popcorn, Wanda Pixie sticks, potatoes, and dry carbs in general. Watermelon if you need it. Try not to drink any water. Try to only take the water in that you're having the day on these 2 days. Basically, the water for 2 days out is 1 gallon or less. 1 day before, you're doing half a gallon now, half a gallon of water. You're still intaking the same things that I just told you on the previous day. You just drop the gallon down and you eat no salt still. Remember, now on the day of, you have no water at all, okay, as opposed to half a gallon and then a full gallon. And then still super high, low. There's no salt now because all the extra salt is out from 2 days out, right? You had all that salt that you're adding from 8, 7, 6, 5, 3 days out. Days 2 and 1 and 0, there's like no salt, 0 salt. Dry everything, and you're doing again the 1 gallon on 2 days out, half a gallon on 1 day out, and then no anything on the day of. High carb still. Depending on the carbohydrates that I gave you previously. And then you take a Pedialyte post-shoot. So that's it. That's a lot of info. Hopefully you got it. The last bit has all the information. Just write it down, and then you'll be good to go. So I'll see you later. Ask questions if you need to. Bye.